Okay, as you just saw, we built up all these cliffs here. I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. I added little bits of grass and stuff, which makes them look more alive, which I like. And other than a bit of the shaping and a bit of the shaping of the grass here, I think they're finished. I'm going to add some waterfalls here, that's why it's more flat here, and I'll add a waterfall there as well. And of course, I'll make them go all the way around here, and I'll continue them over that area. But for today, I think they are pretty good. I also placed a bit of the seabed here, some of the mud, and we'll continue doing this. I'll probably dig down a little bit deeper and continue placing mud all across the sea floor, the lake bed, and I'll turn all this into mud as well. And I'll also carve out this area, and I'll connect up this river to here. I have this box of tools here, which I used to dig out the lake, and the durability on diamond is actually quite a lot less than netherite, so I thought if I ever need to do a project like that again, it'd be better if they were netherite. So I've got all the diamonds I think I'll need to make enough netherite upgrades. It's just getting the netherite itself. So I'm going to need some TNT to blast some nether tunnels so I can find some. Alright, 26. So we can keep 5 as extras. Now we just need 21 netherite ingots. I already have 2, so we need 19. To get all this netherite, we're going to need a lot of TNT. And for that we're going to need a lot of gunpowder. We do have a mob farm here, but it's pretty slow, especially for gunpowder. I don't really know why it's so slow. I feel like it used to be much faster. When I AFK at the AFK platform, the lowest mobs can spawn at this level, so none will be spawning on the ground. And I extended the roof to make it darker, but I don't know what's going on. So I'll probably just remove this and build a new gunpowder farm over the ocean, which will be a gunpowder specific farm. I'll leave a link to the design in the description below. I'm looking at the material list, and I think we might actually be able to build multiple layers of this farm. From memory, it's not too difficult to set up, so yeah, I got all this in about 5-10 minutes, so we should be able to make a ton of trapdoors. So I think we can actually gather enough materials to make 2, even 3 layers, so this will be a very efficient farm. So yeah, let's get to building. Okay, so the gunpowder farm is working well. I ended up building 2 layers like I thought. I spent about 1 hour AFK and I got 2 shulker boxes and a bit extra of gunpowder. I think it was about 1.5 hours that I was AFK. But yeah, that'll be really good. So we'll replenish our rocket supply. And we can make the rest into TNT. And now we can get rid of the mob farm that's over our lake. Alright, before we make the TNT, let's quickly dig the mob farm to the ground. This is actually going to take quite a long time, seeing how I made it all out of deep slate up here. You know what? It's not like I need any of these resources, so I might as well just blow it up with TNT. TNT doesn't really do that much to deep slate, but it'll be much less mind-numbing. So how big of a hole does one of these blow up? 1? What? Only 1? Okay, let's put a few in a row. Alright, that's all the deep slate. And that beacon, if I fly close enough, gives me haste, so I can go over here and then fly back and just quickly line everything up. Oh my goodness. That looks crazy. I look this way and I'm at 250 FPS. I look this way and I'm at 80 FPS. 80 FPS is still perfectly playable, but it's a huge difference. This is a pretty weird visual. Well, I think I'm just gonna let all that stuff despawn. Alright, well the sky now looks empty and we have gotten rid of the mob farm that took longer than expected. I think I built that on episode 4 and we're now on episode 26, so it lasted quite a good while, and it was very useful, but yeah, now it is gone. There's a bit over 8 stacks of TNT. Alright, well, let's head into the nether to try and get all the netherite we need. I think we need 9 netherite ingots, so 19 netherite ingots. Hopefully this doesn't lead directly into lava. Oh, we're already here at Y level 15. If my memory serves me correctly, that's the best height to do this, so I'll just dig a really long tunnel that we can place some TNT and blow it all up. Okay, we're here. There's some already, it's a good sign. Yeah. Okay, 1 so far. I didn't pick it up. Oh, that's nice. Okay, let's go over here. Oh, hey! That was terrifying. Whew, I think I placed a block just in front of my face because I felt like that should do a whole lot more damage. But yeah, at least we got some ancient debris. It's a little scary being in here without any food, but I'll try and find my way back. Well, there we go. I say it's a success. I really don't feel like going and getting any more netherite, so that's good enough for me. Most of our tools are netherite, and I doubt I'll have any big digging projects in a while, or for a while. So that's good enough for me. Alrighty, now that the side quest, you could say, is out of the way, we can get to the main point of today's video, which is the Lakebed, which, believe it or not, is probably a bigger project than the cliffs, because I have to fill in this whole area, I have to fill in this whole underwater area, I have to dig down some more of these underwater parts and change this all to mud. So, I don't actually know if I have any mud left. Yep, I sadly have no mud left. So that means we're gonna have to go back to the mangroves and get a whole bunch more. Okay, well, we nearly just got blown up by a creeper over here. There's a gaping hole in the cliffside. I was just fixing up the lanterns here when I think it jumped down from here and I had no time to react. Luckily we have our totem of undying. But yeah, that was a close call. But the reason I'm stopping the time-lapse is I went back to get another 6 shulker boxes of mud, but I've run out once again. But you can see we've made a lot of progress. I'm happy with the shape we've got going here. I'll continue to dig out this area to make it go deeper as well, and we can continue to raise that area up. So yeah, I'm very happy with how it's gone so far. And yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I filled in some mud there. You can see the difference between the stone and the mud. It does make it look quite a bit darker. So that'll connect all the way around there. Here it shows we've placed 38,000 blocks of mud, which is a bit crazy. I didn't think that looks like 38,000, but maybe it is. So, enough with that. Let's continue gathering a bunch more mud. This time I'll fill up all of these shulker boxes so it can last a bit longer. Okay, so it's been a little while. I've placed in quite a bit more mud in this area, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I think the shapes are pretty cool. It's probably pretty unrealistic, but I think it looks kind of nice, like a topographical map. The main goal for these shapes is to have the deepest parts where the rivers would connect. So there's a river coming through here that would connect to here. So I'll have this deep part going around here, if that makes any sense. And that's probably like the main areas that the ships would sail through. And then these areas would be a little bit too shallow for them. I don't know how it will look when we put all the water over it, whether it'll be very different. It'll look very bright and very dark, or just slightly lighter and slightly darker, but we'll see. We can always add some black concrete if we want to make it look even deeper. But yeah, I think it's turning out pretty well. It's a lot of mud. If you go into times used here, I've placed 46,000 mud, and I think most of that is this. It doesn't feel like 46,000, but it is quite a bit. So I haven't made any progress on the cliffs themselves, but I've taken this barrier for the water back to where everything past it is below y equals 50, I think, and that is lower than the lowest point we will have the mud going down to. So we can just place in some mud over there. We don't have to worry about digging out any more blocks, except for this little area. It's a bit too high here, so I'll just dig all this down. Before I place any more mud though, I will probably get this area worked out. If you look at it, this is y equals 56, and then like the deepest points here are y equals 55 or y equals 54. So it's not that deep, and I'll probably have to mine out a lot of blocks. And I could just use bottles of water to turn the dirt into mud, but there's so much sand in between it that I don't think that'd be worth it. So I think the best idea is actually to drain all this area out. It won't take too long. I've got all the sand here. I went to a desert to get a bunch of sand. And we have our sponges and now a nether portal, so I can just go through, place the sponges down, and they'll be instantly dry. So this process should be a lot faster. So that is the plan. I don't know if we'll get to doing all this area today, but we'll see how far we get over here. So let's hop into another time lapse. And quickly before we do that, I was going to mention this earlier in today's video, but I just forgot. Off camera, between the last episode and this one, I designed this little area outside the front of the greenhouse. This has got to be one of my favourite areas in our world so far. I really like the way the fountain blends in with the trees. It makes it look like its own little world, in my opinion. Some nice flowers. I'll add some bushes in here too to make it look a little bit less flat. And we've got some nice little oak trees. I like the way this one curves over here. So I think this makes the greenhouse a whole lot nicer. I also added trees in here, and I'll probably add some grassy bushes around here too, make it look a little bit more overgrown. And you might have also noticed I've placed in these 4 smaller greenhouses, 2 on each side. I have 2 on each side that are empty, and the other 2 I have relocated the bees to. So one I have bottles for honey, and the other one I have shears for honeycomb over here. And I think that's pretty nice. I think it looks pretty cool. This area is still a big work in progress, but that's a really nice start, I think. I don't know what to put in the other greenhouses, but we can come up with ideas for that as we go in this world. But yeah, let's hop into another time lapse of completing this lakebed. I think I'll just knock out all of this area in this time lapse. Won't do as many updates so we can get some progress done, because I think this video is already going to drag on a little bit and I don't want to keep it waiting any longer. So let's hop into a big time lapse. Well, I think this is a good point to end the video. I've run out of mud for the 100th time, and I don't really want to go collect more, so I think in the next episode I might try and design my own mud farm, because I have Ilmango's mud farm design, but it seems to have broken, and I tried to fix it, it didn't really work. So either something happened with an update, or I'm just not building it right, but I think it would be more fun to design my own, so that's what we're going to do in the next episode, probably. But yeah, we made a ton of progress in today's episode, from building the cliffs, or starting the cliffs, to digging out and draining this whole area, to placing a bunch of mud. I think in total I placed over 100,000 blocks and broke over 100,000 blocks. But yeah, it's been a fun episode to make, and we still have a long way to go with the lake, but we're getting closer to the finish line. So I hope to see you in the next episode, and yeah, thank you very much for watching.